So let's start today's video report by quoting a couple of famous movie characters. First, Michael Douglas's Gordon Gekko from Wall Street. That greed, for lack of a better word, is good. And let's face it, in gambling, greed is definitely good, especially when you're winning. Greed is all you can possibly think about, and greed was definitely on my mind last night. The Houston Astros, who I had as a run line play last night, minus $1.05 at Texas, take a 2-run lead thanks to a single score in the top of the ninth inning at Texas. And I'm sitting there going, oh, baby, greed is definitely the only thing I am concerned about, because I am in line for another top-rated 15-dime best bet winner, number 9 out of 10 over the past couple of weeks. And they've got their closer on the hill. And I get the first 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth inning. And don't the Rangers get a 2-out run-scoring single to make it a 6-5 game that costs me the run line win? And that brings, of course, to my mind, another movie character, Tom Hanks, Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own, who says there's no crying in baseball. Yes, greed is good, but sometimes it doesn't always pay off. What can I tell you? You know, it happens sometimes. And what are you supposed to do? You shrug your shoulders, you go on. And for me personally, it just means today I go for top-rated 15-dime best bet winner number 9 out of 11 and go, I'm still up. And I go for winning day number 15 out of 21. And hey, it's been a 7-week run. But again, you can definitely afford to be greedy. You got to be greedy. I mean, who goes into gambling thinking, oh, maybe I'll win, or I hope I'm going to win, or I hope I don't lose? I mean, if you're not going in thinking you're going to win, what are you doing gambling? Do something else. Never bet again in your life. You got to have a positive attitude, right? Even in the midst of a losing streak, don't you think you're going to win anyway? I mean, seriously, even on your worst days, don't you think you're going to win the following day? Okay. Do you think the Cleveland Cavaliers are thinking that after their Game 1 blowout? I do believe so. And let's talk about this game, because I don't think it's the best bet on the board. I do like this game a lot tonight, but I actually think there's a baseball game that's better. And that's why that's going to be my 15-dime best bet today. But I'm going to break down game number 2 for you here in just a moment. Listen, the other day I broke down game number 1. I gave you all my review for that. So I'm not going to really get too deep into the game 1 metrics again. I don't want to bore you with that. I will just quickly point out one feature here at the site before I move on to your game number 2 free pick, though, however. If you missed Saturday's video report, let me just remind you that I'm a big believer in rewarding those of you out there for your loyalty and your patronage. Baseball players like myself, you realize it's the easiest sport to make money in. You realize it's a sport that you have to be dedicated to, because it's not just the dog days of summer when the August sun is burning a hole in your head, okay? But it's a long season. It's one that you've got to really put in the time to make money. And consequently, if you said 100% of the gambling pool is playing during the NFL and college football season, less than 10% of that gambling pool is playing during the baseball season. But that's why right now, generally the first week in June, is why I offer the single biggest discount of the entire season. I made it available yesterday, and that coupon is available today as well, and then it expires. 30% discount. 30% discount off your total purchase price. It's a mix and match coupon. It can be used for any combination of single picks and or packages. The only stipulation, it's a one-time usage coupon. You got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. If you happen to be involved in a long-term package with a particular handicapper, you can use it to extend that package out further. And if you have any instant rebates, they are applicable as well to maximize your savings. So if you have any questions, you can contact customer service and they will get you the answers that you may need. And again, I do it only twice a year, and it's always designed to benefit those of you that are playing now, the guys that have been here all along. I do it now, and I do it generally like right before Labor Day, right before college football and the NFL season gets underway, to again reward those of you that are here at the time when baseball is really the only game in town. So that coupon is available, and that coupon code is 30%. 30 P-E-R-C-E-N-T. Say it after me. 30 P-E-R-C-E-N-T. Let's get with the Game 2 preview. Okay, a little historical perspective. The winner of game number 1 in the finals is 49-21 overall in terms of winning the series. But, and you knew there was a but coming, the game 1 loser has also won 4 of the past 6 finals, including that series a year ago between Cleveland and Golden State. And all 3 of LeBron James's title teams have rebounded from game 1 defeats. But, and of course you knew there was another but coming, only 2 teams have won the title after losing the opener by at least 20 points. I think the biggest game 1 loser to ever rebound and win the series, I think that was the Lakers in 1985. I believe they lost by 34 points to the Celtics and rebounded to take the series. I think that's it. You know, hey, listen, I'm getting older. You know, my memory isn't quite there as it once was. But listen, let's talk about this. Now, I read a lot of articles, and I think Cleveland.com does an outstanding job. Joe Varden, their lead writer, and the rest of the guys at their staff does an outstanding job every single day breaking down the Cavaliers and their postseason drive, the number of stories they have, and the in-depth features, etc. You know, one of the best stories was basically summing up that the Cavaliers just didn't have their heads into the game, into the opener. And maybe that's a fact. I can't tell you why. I mean, this is a Cleveland team that came out so focused in game number 1 against the Pacers, against the Raptors, against the Celtics. In those series openers, a refreshed, rested team just came out so focused. But clearly, this was not a team that was ready to play in game number 1, which really caught me by surprise because I thought it would be the other way around. As I pointed out in my video report prior to the series opener, I thought it was going to be the Warriors, the team that was not focused for game number 1 against San Antonio and found themselves down by 25 points. And if not for Leonard's injury, really should have lost that game to the Spurs. But it was the Thunder that came out, or excuse me, the Warriors that came out, played so aggressively, took control of that game, and just squashed the Cavaliers. I didn't see any intensity, especially on the defensive side from Cleveland. And I also wonder a little bit about their strategy as well. I don't understand why we didn't see Kyrie Irving being more aggressive, even though he was the second leading scorer for the Cavaliers. I didn't see him being more aggressive like he was in the latter stages of last year's finals, because when he's driving the lane or when they're using him to draw out the Golden State bigs, that's what they've got to do, they being the Cavaliers. They've got to draw out the Golden State bigs, pulling them out to the perimeter, because that is a much more effective strategy for Cleveland offensively, using Irving. Because what that's going to do, it's going to open the lane. It's going to give you a better chance to grab those offensive rebounds and give you better opportunities in terms of second chance points. It's also probably going to eventually, because you're not going to be able to defend Kyrie Irving when the bigs are going to come out, right? It's also going to probably force Mike Brown, who's a lousy coach anyway, it's probably going to force him to go to more smaller matchups, which will be a more favorable situation for Cleveland. So I didn't understand that strategy. I also didn't understand the pace that the Cavaliers were playing at. You do not want to go at a slower pace and get into more half-court sets with the Warriors, because that's where their defense is going to hurt you. This is a Warriors team that you've got to accelerate the pace. And I've got to think today that you're going to see LeBron, probably more so than Irving, drive that ball down the floor. You're going to see them take it, move it, cross the mid-court line, and you're going to see them get into the offensive flow in 7 seconds or less and attack the basket aggressively. Do not allow the Warriors to set up defensively. I think that is key in that game. The other thing is, the Warriors are a smaller team. Now, Tristan Thompson, he was missing in action. I don't know what happened to this guy in game number 1. 0 points and 4 rebounds in 22 minutes. This is a guy who was averaging 9.3 rebounds and a little over 8 points, 9 points a game in the postseason. This is a guy who averaged 10.3 points and 10.1 rebounds in last year's finals. Now, true, last year the Warriors had Andrew Bogut and the cast of guys who were no longer there manning the middle. It's not like they got Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar reincarnated manning the middle now. They're still an undersized team. You got to do a better job, they being, again, the Cavaliers, at using your strength, which is your size, to control the boards. You control the boards, you limit the second chance opportunities for the Warriors. You also reduce the opportunities for the Warriors to get out on the break, and at the same time, you increase your opportunities to get into the transition game, which leads to your ability to get the breaks going on your end and to accelerate the pace of the game. And I think those are the keys here for Cleveland today. Now, do I think Cleveland can win this game? I'm not sure. I am not sure, but the one thing I do know, and I'm not a LeBron James fan, but we have seen LeBron James be counted out so many times, and we have seen this guy strap a team on his back and literally will them to win. And I am not about to sit here and tell you that LeBron James and the Cavaliers can win the game, but at the same time, there is no way I would bet against him today. And I do like a baseball game just a little bit more today, but otherwise my money would be on the Cavaliers. Give me those 9 points. Yeah, that's the way I would play the game. Give me the Cavaliers plus the 9 points. Everything went right for the Warriors in game number 1. And there's room for improvement. As I pointed out, Klay Thompson has had a miserable postseason. 3 for 16 in game number 1. Draymond Green got into early foul trouble, was very ineffective in game number 1, 3 for 12 shooting, only finished with 9 points, 11 rebounds. It would be scary if those two got into the offensive flow. At the same time, Tristan Thompson was a no-show, Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith a no-show. The bench did not contribute anything other than Richard Jefferson. But is Kevin Durant going to go crazy again? Well, it could be. Steph Curry's going to have his points anyway. But are the rest of the Cavaliers going to be so ineffective as they were in game 1? I don't believe so. So I'm going to ride the Cavaliers, grab the points. That's the way I would play the game. In terms of the total, I have absolutely no thoughts on that. We saw game number 1 stay under. I think the majority of the guys probably thought out in the gambling world that the game would go over. However, if I'm right and the Cavaliers accelerate the pace in this game, you could see that 132, 130-25 game that you probably thought you were going to see in number 1. Could be. But again, I like Cavaliers plus the points. That's the way I would play it. I wish you well, guys. I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.